Let the record reflect that the Trump administration claiming the Western Hemisphere is now a priority. It is inconceivable that today, nearly a year into the Trump administration, this subcommittee is holding its first hearing of the United States Congress with administration officials. Of course, I've long championed attention to the Western Hemisphere, but the way that this administration is approaching the Western Hemisphere, I would say, is dead wrong. The president has spoken about bringing back the Monroe Doctrine, but I'm not sure what he means. Does the president want to bring us back to the time when our policy was to protect the hemispheric economy that was based on slave trade from European powers? I don't know. Or is he pushing a return to a failed Cold War era of U.S. intervention that supported military dictatorships in Argentina, Bolivia, Brazil, Cuba, the Dominican Republic, Chile, Guatemala, Haiti, and El Salvador? It's not clear on what he means by returning to the Monroe Doctrine. A reputation we are still trying to repair to this very day. What is clear is that the Trump administration is unleashing chaos and calamity across the region. For a few examples, I'd like to be specific in Colombia. Even though Colombia is our top counter-narcotics partner in the region, President Trump has threatened the president of Colombia and driven a wedge in our relationship. As regards to Mexico, has threatened military strikes on Mexico's sovereign territory. With Panama, he's threatened to take the Panama Canal by force. He has disappeared soccer coaches and hairdressers from the United States to Salvadorian gulags with no due process. For the temporary protective status, he's rounding up thousands of Venezuelans, Cubans, Haitians, Nicaraguans that are legally in the United States, many of which live in my district and the chairwoman's district, and sending them back to economic hardship, political reprisal, and repression. In Honduras, by releasing the then president, Juan Hernández, a known and convicted drug trafficker from United States jails who went through United States courts, who was found guilty of having transported 400 tons of cocaine, is just embarrassing and contradictory. Now he wants to have a war with Venezuela, all while bringing back the Iraq War playbook, sending the U.S. to a brink of war with Venezuela, falsely claiming that the military buildup in the Caribbean is to fight drugs while letting out the nation's and our hemisphere's biggest known drug dealer. He's made it clear this is all about oil. I tell you, this erodes our credibility, our standing amongst other nations. With tariffs, he's raised prices on American families by levying tariffs on Canada and Mexico, and has imposed a 50% illegal tariff on Brazil. Argentina and the USAID cuts. Same time, we are not able to export to China. He's giving it to a competitor whom we do very little trade with in Argentina by giving them $40 billion while eliminating our soft power of USAID in the region, allowing China and others to malign characters to fill the void. And those are just a few examples. The region is an unmitigated disaster, and we have to say it's because of this administration. Mr. Landberg, I would ask you, can you help us make sense of this administration's counter-narcotics strategy? On January 21st, President Trump pardoned Ross Ulbricht, who ran one of the largest online drug marketplaces in history and was serving a double life sentence. Earlier this month, the president also pardoned the former president of Honduras, whom an American jury convicted of moving more than 400 tons of cocaine in the United States. Yet at the same time, the administration has authorized lethal military strikes against individuals accused of far less offenses. This administration is releasing the bosses, but killing the pawns. After the September 2nd strike, the Department of Defense ordered the killing of 2 survivors clinging to wreckage. After the October 16th strike, 2 survivors were instead repatriated to their home countries without charges or conditions. Can you please tell me how we can reconcile what this administration's goals are?
Thank you, sir. Related to strikes, I would refer you to the Department of War. Related to counter-narcotics strategy and policy, I can tell you what INL's focus is, generally to support what the President Trump's obvious objective is to unleash all tools that he has to counter this poison that has killed hundreds of thousands of Americans. What INL is doing is we are working in a moment of unprecedented will in the region to counter the organizations, to stop the drugs, to increase, criminal justice activities, and to, halt illegal immigration, control borders, control ports. That is what INL is working across the whole region to do, to achieve, and that is in support of the president's overall policies to stop the activities of these organizations, to dismantle them, and to stop the drug flow of fentanyl and keep it from killing American citizens.
Well, thank you, Mr. Landberg. In the future, I look forward to talking with you. I'll share with you some questions that I have, and I hope we can at least sync up on identifying correct United States agencies. I think it's quite foolish to say Department of War. Mr. Secretary Pete Hegseth is wrong. He's foolish. That's the purview of the Congress to name departments. It's not his, and it's not his way or no way at all.